Welcome, everyone. We're back with another absolutely amazing episode of Hotel Talk. And today I have with us a very old friend, old young friend, who I've known for a very long time, Miss Lia Haraki, who is a performance artist. So it's the first time on Hotel Talk we're having someone in her field like this. But she's so much more than that. She's a mummy, first of all. And I always say that is our most important job. She's an educator, a coach, a mentor, and she works with creative practices. And she's going to explain everything she does to us. Leah, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. I've always, for the last, I don't know, 20 years, loved our conversations.
Mm.
Whenever we meet and life brings us together, we've
Yeah.
always managed to suddenly go so deep into life and philosophies. And
Me too.
so I can't wait to have a conversation actually recorded for other
Super.
people to benefit from.
Mm.
So let's start off, first of all, with your journey. Let's talk
Mm.
about you. Let's talk about where you were born, where you grew up, how life led you into this profession, where you've spread your knowledge with education, but also you got into dance, and why you decided to combine the two.
Mm. Beautiful. First of all, thank you so much for having me. You're an example of empowering other women, and also empowering yourself as well.
Oh,
And
thank
so
you,
for
dear.
me, this is very, very important to have in society. So thank you so much for inviting me into this beautiful frame. So, wow, this opportunity of talking about oneself. Let me try to say a few things, but also hopefully make it relevant for others. So, wow, I'm a true Limassolian. I was born here, even if my surname actually is Lebanese. It's Harake, and I know that my great grandfather came from Lebanon actually, but I don't speak Arabic, and I actually
Mm.
have no contact with it. But maybe it's a good idea to, yeah, at
Yeah,
some point to, yeah,
reconnect with that part
reconnect
of
with that
you.
part of me. Yes. So yes, I was born in this amazing island and grew up here. And as all kids, in the 80s and 90s, we did ballet and English, French, or something like that. I mean, yeah, quite privileged in having from my parents this beautiful opportunity. And then at around 18, when you are asked what you want to do, I don't know if it was my mother that placed this question or myself, my higher self, or whatever, but it was more like, what do I want to be doing every day?
Mm.
Rather than having an idea outside that I want to serve. So I remember it was a very specific night that I took this decision that every day I want to be dancing, I thought, but for me now it was more like connecting to my physical body.
Mhm.
And looking at my practices now, it's more like using this connection through the physical to reach also the other bodies that we
Mm.
have, like the emotional, the mental, and so many more. So I went to London and I studied it was one of the first BA courses in dance. So it was at the City University. Our school was called Laban Center, and it was a shock because until then I knew movement and dance as a practice. But through this education, you understand, of course, so much more: the philosophy of art, the sociology, the politics, basically what Pina Bausch is saying, this amazing choreographer, which is not how you dance, but why do you dance?
Yeah, to
The
come out.
meaning behind.
It's not just about the technical steps or learning the movements. It's about the feeling that comes
And
out and sharing
also
that.
the meaning of it in terms of, I mean, as in art, what do you want to say? What do
Mm.
you have to say? What do you have to share? And so then after that, I mean, the dream was to become a dancer, professional dancer, contemporary dancer. So I worked with many people also in Athens, Greece, amazing choreographers and companies. And so it's amazing that I've done
Nice
that.
memories,
Yeah,
huh? When you look
yeah,
back and
yeah. Because if I mean, there's bitterness if people don't get to do their dreams. So
mm,
I'm very in that
that's what they
sense,
say. You never regret what you did. You regret what you didn't.
right,
So when you can
right.
look back and And do you feel like proud when you look back? I know, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, and I know you're quite a low profile, humble lady,
Oh,
but looking back now at this stage of your life and being a mother as well, don't you feel like quite proud, almost in a motherly way, of what you achieved at that young age? Like, like well done you.
mm,
You went, it's not easy to leave from little Limassol where we have all our comforts and back then. And, it was a very small society. We weren't like we are now. And mummy and daddy were here and everything, and then suddenly to go into London and then do something that's quite different to what society here normally
very
pushes
different.
children to do, and then go to Athens and then, and really allow yourself to go into a new world. It's quite a big
So,
jump.
so grateful to my younger self for persisting,
Mm,
because there were many challenges. It's amazing. I don't know why I wanted this so much. Maybe it's also a mechanism of like of defense, like to make sure. Maybe it's the ego. I said I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it. I don't know what it is, but it's through those challenges, and it is the challenges that actually make us grow, right?
Yeah, but many
So
people
yeah.
say, I'm going to do it. And then, maybe not the first or second or third, but the 10th challenge or the 20th hurdle, they say, you know what, I'm done. Or maybe I want to outgrow
You're
that.
absolutely right. I need to
But
give
you
credit
didn't. Yeah.
here to my mother, who told me one of the biggest no's, which was the biggest yes. After I finished my studies in contemporary dance, we were not in the EU. So I was working in London, but that was like
Mm.
illegally. So I remember I was full of spots because of my
From the
anxiety.
stress.
Anyway, at some point, I came for a weekend in Cyprus, and I decided I couldn't go back. Like, my visa was finished. But in Cyprus, then we didn't have contemporary dance. I really felt like out of the box. And on the
Mm.
other hand, it wasn't in my character to go and show off of what I
Mm.
had. So I couldn't find a community.
Yeah, I was going to say, and a lot of people
Yeah.
wouldn't have understood you. They wouldn't have been able to connect to
It
you.
was just the genre wasn't here as much as possible. I mean, there
Mm.
were, Ariana Economou was here, but she was in Nicosia. So, in my city, this kind of dance genre was not present, which was the genre I wanted to practice. So I remember I was home and I felt quite depressed. And then my mom, at some point, she said, "Well, you need to leave now." She said, "You chose this. You
Wow.
will either take responsibility, or change your career. But like this, to stay in my house in this way, like, you need to figure it out." And and
Amazing.
and and then I said, "Okay, where can I work? Legally, can work in Athens." So I just took my things and I went to Athens and I stayed for five
Imagine.
years. Yeah. So sometimes the biggest no's are the
Yeah. And
biggest
your
yeses.
mother was quite a force, wasn't she, as a lady and a character?
She was
Amazing
embodied
lady. Yeah.
spirit. She's a Leo. She was.
Yeah.
I remember at some point me and my mother, where I was performing in some festival in Kalamata, and I remember like all the performers there were so. When she started talking, she would put her
Her
sleeves
sleeves
up
up.
and start performing. Whatever she was speaking, and all the performers were like, "Oh my God, you're getting it from her!" Amazing
I love it
woman.
when that happens, when you meet someone and you're like, oh, why are they, well, however they are, you think, why are they like that? And then suddenly you meet one of their parents and you go, now I understand. Now it all makes
Yeah.
sense.
But also, parents and family can be our biggest teachers, because it does not mean, how can you love them even if you disagree with them? Because she might be amazing, but at the same time, we're different.
Mm.
And through, yeah, the relationships we have with parents, with our kids, how can we, as I say, like, it's only through the love that you can really like grow, and love in the sense of how can you accept them when you disagree with them,
I was
like
just about
how
to
can.
say about acceptance. Yeah. That was one of the most powerful things my eldest said to me. And it really, until now, it still makes my hair stand on end because, Yasmina looks very much like me. I think I've
Mm,
mentioned this before on the podcast. And one day, I think everywhere we go until now, people say, oh, you're mini mummy. You look like your mother or mini Farah. And she sat in the car and she was so little. I don't know, she was maybe 4. And she said, you know, Mummy, I'm me and you're you.
Mm.
And we're different and that's okay.
Wow.
Mm,
Wow. That's an
yeah.
adult.
Yeah. That was in response to me asking her one day. And I just said, oh, I'm so proud of you and I love you. And then I said, does it bother you when everybody says that you're exactly like me? And she was like quiet for a minute. And then she just said, I'm me and you're you
Mm.
and we're different and that's
Mm.
okay. And I don't know if she was saying that for me, for the outside people, for herself.
Mm.
But I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Mm.
You know, you're yourself and
Absolutely.
you're going to be whoever you're meant to be. And I
Of course.
can't wait to see it, whatever it is. Yeah.
It's a huge deal when we realize that we are free from our impression to impress our parents,
Mm,
or to when we are free from this notion that we need to be accepted, or uh, how do you say, so that they're proud of us or something like
mm,
that. And I mean, I always say the moment I think I went into adulthood and really grew up, which was like a few years ago, even if I'm 49 now, was when I realized that I am my own parents.
mm,
I am my own parents. I am my own bestie. And it doesn't mean so that I don't have
mm.
expectations from people outside of me to give me
Yeah.
credit.
To give you
And
that
you, yeah,
support.
you
You look
own,
inward.
and
Yeah.
and that comes also with a lot of responsibility of
Mm.
your actions.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. So, okay, so you ended up in Athens
yeah,
dancing. How did you come back here? How did you decide to go into education? What made
yeah.
you decide to combine them?
There was a turning point in Athens. Again, back to love. It's such a strong force, isn't it? I fell in love with an amazing man, and yeah, and I decided to follow him and to be with him, and to see where. I mean, I was kind of ready to do my own work,
Mm,
also as a to try choreography out. So it was a beautiful moment when this personal shift was happening in in my career, and then also the companionship, the partnership
And in
with
your
this
personal
amazing
life.
person. And then we decided to come back to Cyprus via Dubai, that he had work there, but then I couldn't take it because it was such a fake city for me. I wanted
Yeah.
theater and people and all this. Now, of course, there is all this there, but
Yes, but okay, we're
then
talking
there
20 years
wasn't.
ago. Yeah.
And then when we came home, I tried to do my own work, and that worked. And I there was a moment where I felt that through the work, people were shifting through their own state when they were
Mm,
watching the work. So I was like, oh, because I'm a natural sharer, I really want to share that. I got hooked on that feeling that how can my work stimulate and trigger
mm.
whatever is there, trigger in a nice way,
Yes,
hopefully,
of
or
course.
even in the darker way, because again, it's through the challenges that we grow. And I started doing this more and more, and the work, in a way, attracted programmers from abroad that really appreciated the work. So then we had this dream life where I started touring a lot in Europe with all the pieces. And anyway, yeah, it
Amazing.
was amazing. It was amazing. I've done over like 50 works now, the last 22 years. We're also having a book on the works
Oh,
coming out in
congratulations.
2 months, hopefully. Um, and what is important about these works is that each time you create with collaborators. So it is those relationships and how we grew together with so many collaborators that have been
Mm.
around in these works.
Amazing, amazing. And education? When and how did that come in?
Instantly, it was a parallel journey. I kind of feel it's a part of my character that the information is not valid if you don't share it, or it's not useful if you don't
Mm.
share it. So I immediately found ways of
But that doesn't come
transferring.
easily to a lot of people. And I find even more so in Cyprus, okay, maybe it's the only place I know, but people want to keep their information. They want to keep their secrets. They want to keep their, you know, the idea of sharing that love, of sharing that glory. A lot of people don't have it or it doesn't come easily to them. So
It's not for everybody.
for you though to be, and when I say education, I mean it in the broader sense. I
Yeah.
mean just sharing knowledge and time. And so for you to be the first here doing a lot of these things, to be a trailblazer, and then to say, well, I want to help others do the same is in itself, for me, quite remarkable anyway. And
Thank
saying, oh, I want to find the time for that because you were successful in doing your thing. You could have toured more, you could have
you.
done more shows, but you then said, no, I want to find that time instead to give that back.
It was a parallel journey. I mean, I was one of the people that we created the first syllabus for the BA dance in the Nicosia University, which I taught for 16 years. And also at the same time, the research behind all these works became methods.
Mm,
So I can now say I have 5 of these. So yeah, I mean, to keep them, I mean, you need to practice the methods and give them. And also, I don't feel that if you give something, it means that you're deprived of it. I feel that it's like it's a necessary process. It's through the giving
mm,
that you're taking. I mean, I say I taught, but I at the same time I grew,
mm,
and I cannot teach if I don't grow, which means that I need to have somebody that is a, in Greek we say dechtis, somebody, a vessel that appreciates and has gratitude for this and
mm-hmm,
will take it and make it into their own,
mm-hmm.
channel it into their own way. So
Style,
for
journey,
me,
everything.
it's a growth
Yeah.
process. And also, I don't believe that creativity has a limit. It's
Mm,
infinite. It's like vrisi.
mhm,
Vrisi?
mhm. Yeah,
When the tap of
the
water,
tap, the
you
faucet.
open the tap,
Hmm.
it's all the time. And also it's part of this now mentoring and coaching that I do, that I really work a lot with embodied creativity because it's, for me, creativity is like water. It is based on what, for example, this amazing philosopher Heraclitus was saying, of the only thing that we're all sure about: change. Change and shift is always part of life, which is part
Mm,
of creativity. And of course, there's positive creativity, but also you can use creativity to destroy and distract. How do you say? Destroy distraction. Nah.
mhm,
So it's, you need to be conscious also how you use the
mm.
shifting of
And the
creativity.
energy. Absolutely. So let's talk a bit about dance and well-being. So, I mean, you've already said now how you use your dance for your personal growth and self-discovery, but how has the philosophy of that changed? How do you see dance
Yeah.
developing, especially in Cyprus? And how can dance help people to feel better about themselves, to channel their energy well, to just be healthier, happier people?
Hmm. Okay, so thank you for this question. So dance is a genre, like is, for example, painting or sculpture.
Mm, it's a form of art, yeah.
Yeah, it's a form of art. It's an art genre, yeah. But I want to think about more the tools that I use rather than be a slave to service the genre, to the service of the genre. So the tools that I use are the body, and the body has the voice. So my central tools are the body and voice, and the body can be dance, but it can also be so many other things. So I use very open, um, you know, how do you, terms like embodied creativity, somatic practices, performance practices, my practices. It's, I want it to be open and huge because that's what the body deserves. It's a whole. Each one of us is a huge universe.
Mm,
So yeah, I'm not limiting what I do to dance, uh, but I do work a lot with movement and voice, because I believe that through the physicality, through the body, we can actually reach our other bodies, our emotional body, our mental body, our sensory body, our sensual body, our sexual body, intuitive body. So when we work and when I share my practices with people, either one on one or in groups, we need to be open. We need to
mm,
be open to see what comes up without judging it and just really embracing it and being with it. And by embodying it, whatever energy it is, whether it's anxiety or fear or happiness or joy, by moving and being with it, you're not resisting it, which means blocking it, but you're embracing it and being it.
And allowing it to flow.
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong way. It's as I said, we're all many different universes.
Well, you already touched on it when you said you were very stressed at a point in your life. Your skin, wasn't at its clearest, and
Yeah.
it's all connected. So any emotions that we have in us have to come out some way, and that's where well-being suffers. And I always find as well, like sometimes when I mean, I have psoriasis, and it might come out, and I'm like, but I'm genuinely not stressed at this period. But if I look back 6 months ago, I was, and it takes the body time to process it
Wow.
and then come
Yeah.
out. So if there are ways to release it, and at the end of the day, dance and movement is a form of exercise. It releases endorphins, makes us
Vocalizing.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, gets that energy flowing. I think in um, any part of the world, whether it's looking at chakras, whether it's looking at the scientific way, there's so much benefit
Yeah.
to that type of
It's beautiful if
movement.
people come from their own perspectives.
Mm,
So, for example, I wear the hat of a practicing artist working with the body and voice. I do not wear the hat of a coach,
hmm
even if the word coaching in choreography has been there from forever. Like from
Yeah.
the beginning, you actually coach people to find their authentic movement and
hmm
language and all this. So in that sense, I'm okay using it, but I do not say that I'm a coach, and I do not say that I'm a therapist or something like that.
Yeah.
I am sharing my experience by practicing embodied creativity for so many years.
So who comes to see you then to have? I mean, is it teenagers? Is it kids? Is it families? Is it older people? Is it people who are already dancing?
Mm.
Who's your general?
Mm.
Let's say I don't want to say followers as in social media, but let's say
No.
yeah, um, students or
Yeah,
people that
who do I
come.
attract?
Yeah.
Um, okay, so it was hard for me because when you have um, a lot of work behind you, it took me some years to ground and see, okay, what do I have to offer?
Mm,
Because yes, I have loads of works for the stage, but then, I mean, actually, I didn't think about it out of the blue. It came actually from a challenge. I noticed that in my own life, whenever I was going through a challenge, whether this was a disease or whether this was, I don't know, financial crisis, relationship crisis, like, not crisis, like
hmm
challenges,
Which I mean, there's no one listening to this who hasn't been through their share of
annoyed, of
challenges.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, please, let's just say it. I mean, we're all there.
Yeah.
What are we trying to protect? What kind of image?
Exactly.
Hello, everything is changing. So, yeah, I noticed that it was the same performance and creative practices that I was using in the studio to create works for the stage. It was actually those practices that helped me in my life
hmm
go through the challenges. It was, for example, my vocalizing so that my voice gets liberated. And then after that, the energy was shifting in my body. It was the movement. It was even tools like recording myself on my phone so that I get it out there,
Mm.
And then I started sharing these with people that, also wanted
Yeah.
to
Friends,
kind of,
associates.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I saw that that was working. So then I said, okay, but what is it? What is it? Can I ground it so that I know how to offer it to
Mm.
people? So then I took it a few years. I love it because I never said this before. It's wonderful how you're giving me this
Yay.
opportunity. Thank you. So I took time and I started grounding it. And then through this grounding thing of, that goes there and that was there, I realized um, that everything was inside me. And it was not a matter of adding, it was a matter of unlayering so that all my practices can be revealed. And this is how I came with my first coaching method called the onion, because I use the onion as a symbol of everything's there. It's all a matter of
hmm
unlayering. So the onion came to be this beautiful coaching that I do mostly for creatives, but I believe that everybody, even if you have a 9 to 5 job, you have all these hobbies. You are
Mm.
creative in other sections of your life.
And it's like it's amazing to see how many doctors, for example, are all painters and musicians and singers, and that jobs that you would accountants that you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, they're interested in art or poetry or literature, and they all have these amazing hobbies.
Yeah, I mean, you can have your own universe. Cooking is is
Hmm.
creativity. Doing gardening is creativity. I don't know. When we're on the phone in the 80s and we
And
used
we
to do
doodle.
that is creativity. And
I always did
sometimes
grapes and flowers.
creativity, the problem with the creativity is that it can be very chaotic,
Mm,
because when it's the creative body, so when the mental body comes to like, what exactly am I doing? I'm doing this, so I'm starting to, but now I am not fair to the other practice and to the other, and suddenly you get blocked. Like, where do I start from? So the onion is about,
mm,
it has these 9 perspectives towards creativity, and in the end also you have a short and a long term plan, like how you want
mm.
to proceed, in which direction. So that's one. And then I have another two kind of practices that people come to me, which actually were initiated because of people. People would come to me saying, I have a talk to do, public speaking. And for example, I don't know how. I get a stage fright,
Mm.
or I need
Which is
to
very
be
normal.
on stage and my body is trembling. So then for me, this is so easy. I give them, I embrace them and give them through techniques
Mm,
and also states of being, because that has a lot to do with
yeah.
the stage fright. So I call that, what do I call that? Like, at ease with performing.
Hmm.
And the last one is the one I told you about, challenges, which is this embodied. If people, for example, the pen, we're
Ah,
talking
I know, don't worry, I'm
the
also.
sound. So if people, for example, feel disconnected from their body or from the other bodies, going back into the physicality, going back into creative
Mm,
play, going back into accepting that I have these blockages of anxiety, and maybe I don't, maybe parallel to talking to my psychologist or whatever, maybe I decide that I want to have a frame in my life where I can be physically and creatively playful,
mm.
or I try it out and see. So through this embodied creativity, many people, their energy shifts. Again, it is not therapy. I do not call myself that, and I
But it
don't
is a
want to
form of
do.
therapy. I
But
mean, you're not
people
talking
say
about
that
a
it really
doctor,
helps them.
you're not claiming to be a psychologist or physiotherapist or anything like that. But it is therapy. Like, and therapy can be,
Yeah,
people can do self-therapy. You can go for a
yeah,
walk,
for sure, for
people can
sure,
lock themselves away for a
for
day and
sure.
just allow themselves to think. I mean, there's so many forms of therapy. So why shouldn't
Yeah,
dance
you're
be a
right. You're
therapy?
right. But of course, it has a weight. This
Mm.
word has a lot of weight in
Maybe in
it.
an expectation, but life's a
What people
journey.
say that is in common, because I'm trying to see what they tell me is that they find connection with with
Mm,
themselves through the body,
mm,
or they make friends with the feelings they have. They
mm.
feel empowered. They feel that they have more confidence when they go out. They feel like they own their physicality and their body, whatever it is. Not trying to shift and change the body in a way that kind of media tells us that it's good or
Well, I was
whatever.
about to say, I mean,
Yeah.
have you seen a lot of that? Because, I mean, I think, the lucky ones that grew up in a world that didn't have social media, where we had television sporadically, not even all the time, and not available. We had to wait till Saturday morning to watch a cartoon, and it was a very different world. And yes,
Very.
we did. I mean, definitely in the 80s, we had the five supermodels who were extremely slim, and there was that definitely emerging at that time. But pictures were expensive. We wouldn't be snapping pictures all the time to get to develop the film. So it was a completely different era. We did see ourselves in a mirror in the odd picture, but it wasn't like now where 20 times a day, we're on Zoom and you see yourself, you're on FaceTime, you're on WhatsApp, you're sending pictures, you're on social media, and we're exposed to so much. And I think people have become and everyone's looking the same. Everybody does their lips. They,
Oh,
I mean, it's all about the
it's
makeup. They use
okay.
the same filter. And so this expectation and weight that everyone has on themselves it's very heavy. It's very asphyxiating. And people then also will feel more nervous. You can see, I mean, the clubs don't exist really anymore. Discos that we, grew
Yeah,
up
we were
going
so
to,
lucky
we
going
were
to
so lucky and they
party.
don't now. And well, the main reason is everybody, they don't need to meet now out. They're meeting online. And they're also, people are very aware, like they're self-conscious. So people don't dance like they used to. Like we would dance, but also no one could film us. We would dance and just have a laugh. Now everybody is, just stiff and worried. So how how do you find that with people coming in, maybe younger people, or and then saying dance now it's okay, like there's no camera on you, no one's looking at you, connect with your body. If you've got a baby bump, don't worry about it. If you're a man with love handles, it's okay. And to feel all right with who we are, like it's our only home that we'll ever have throughout
Yeah,
our whole life is our
yeah,
body.
absolutely. But I mean, first of all, there's this thing called free will.
Mm.
So only if somebody wants or is bothered with all of what you're saying
but that
happening now,
but that
they
is
would
like
start to.
99% of people. It's impossible not to be.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to tell another person, embrace your belly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's up to them if they are what their values are.
Mm.
And I don't believe in dogma in the sense that, what I do is like the best thing or whatever, or this is the way. No, this is just one way.
Mm.
And if people are in their own free will, they feel disconnected some way, or they are bothered by the idea that they have anxiety because they're always like conscious of how they look, eventually they will start researching what else is there to do and how can I get
Mm.
help. But for sure, there is this anxiety about how we look. At the same time, if everything is on a very healthy and it doesn't make us feel bad about it, and you don't have anxiety about it, that's perfect. Because, for example, when I came here, I asked
Yeah.
how do I look? I want to, because for me it's the opposite. Like, I will go out of the house, I don't even see in the mirror, like, and then my kids tell me, come on, like, come
Come
on.
on, mommy.
So
Pull
I'm
your socks
aware,
up.
like, shit, Leah, you should never forget, like, hey, come on, so today, like, I also put makeup, come
Yeah.
on. So some of us, it's the opposite. It's
It's
not.
also nice to feel good for yourself. I mean,
Yeah, this
if you
is
get a
great.
glance of
uh,
yourself in a window,
yeah, yeah, and
just to
some
be like,
people
yeah.
really, like, this is their way of feeling great,
Mm.
and that's fine. Whatever makes you feel not comfortable, whether it's too much anxiety in how you look or your body, whether it's, this is what I call toxic positivity. I have to be well, I have to be like
Mm.
in positive and only that. Like, no, like, does that bring you anxiety? Like,
Mm.
what about embracing what we are, because we're everything. uh, so then there's a challenge if you feel anxiety for whatever your body is out of line, and then you will hopefully be responsible enough
Mm.
to love yourself enough so you do something about it,
Mm.
whether it's getting help or support from me or from so many other people and practices. um
Everyone's on a journey.
yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes people, like, maybe someone meets you or anyone in the world and they say, well, that didn't help me now. And 5 or 10 or 20 years later, they'll be like, "Oh, someone said this to me and now it clicks."
Hmm.
So you never know. And I always say that about us being here and our purpose. We might never know what our purpose was, but we definitely, the ripple effect is so huge and we affect so many people's lives. And maybe just saying, being nice to a stranger one day when they felt down, and that ripple effect goes on and on and on.
Ripple
So,
effect, love it. I think when they ask me, like, how do I know, like, what would you brought this idea of life purpose. I love that.
mm,
um I always say, listen to the body, and if you feel comfortable with this person, uh, you're in the flow. You're
yeah,
where you should be. If you don't feel comfortable, if you're at that party, all you find yourself in these parties all the time, or whatever,
mm,
in these horrible situations, or with those toxic people, whatever, and your body is resisting, doesn't want to be there, then
follow
it's a
it.
calling. So our emotions are there to, shout out to us, hello, you're not in your flow, you're not in your purpose.
I love that. Have you read the book
Yeah.
Flow by Michael? Oh, is the name is so long I can't say it. Chai. I don't.
No,
It's an amazing
but
book.
all these
Yeah.
ideas are, of course, in the air, and so many
Mm,
people. There's so much, should we say, mass awakening to the idea of it's okay to be happy.
mm,
It's okay to be happy without having to, you know, change ourselves to
mm,
be with that kind of politics. I don't know, beauty politics, or here it's like you're pulled from all these
mm.
other philosophies rather than
Just
the
find
opposite.
find your flow.
Surrender to what
You
you
want to
are,
do. Yeah.
and then you don't have anxiety about how you look,
Mm,
because isn't it more important how you feel?
mm,
That's what I'm saying. It comes back to values. What is more important at
yeah.
the end of the day? How you are perceived or how you feel?
Hmm.
And that is a choice in all of us.
I love that. I love that. What is your favorite quote? You've said a few quotes so far,
Oh
but
no, you told me to already think about it and I didn't, but I
but
have so
you've
many.
already said
What did
quite
I
a
say?
few.
Oh, okay.
From Alexander the
Oh
Great,
yeah.
from
Let me
Hippocrates.
think of somebody. Okay, so I love a quote by Bruce Lee. He says, because martial artists, come on, they're amazing. He says, "No way as way,
No way
as way."
as
So
way.
there's not one way.
Mm,
There's so many ways. There is infinite ways as ways.
mm,
So
yeah,
yeah, I would keep
it's
that
true.
now, that openness and
Hmm.
the acceptance of it. And I'm sure I'm gonna
Oh, there's
remember a
always so
hundred more.
many. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, the bonus question. I don't know what this is. You won't know until you
Okay.
open it up.
What is this
So
creative practice?
this is our creativity at St. Raphael Resort. We get all our team, or whoever wants, can write a question.
Oh,
They put it in. They don't know who's gonna pick it out,
fantastic. I love it.
and
This is super creative.
it's
Like,
fun,
it
isn't it?
reminds me of one of my practices called performing biography, where people go on the mic and there's
Okay.
like a question about your life. And yeah, I'm
Wow.
going to make that into actually a game.
I
At the
love
moment,
that.
it's an interactive game that people book for parties and
Oh no,
stuff like
we've got
that.
to do it.
Yeah,
We'll do it for
let's
the
do it
club.
at the hotel.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
done.
yeah. I
Right.
love it. Love it. I'm the host with the. Yeah, I'm not going to
Yeah.
get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh my goodness.
Something you love but feel silly admitting. And I'm not going to say who wrote it.
That's hilarious. No, say. They'll be
Love it.
happy.
They will.
Yeah.
Okay, Irini Michael.
Oh, I love that. Irene. That's hilarious. What a great
So
question.
these are people that
Yeah,
are in the
she
hotel
work with us.
and
Yeah.
they work with you.
Yeah, they're
Fantastic.
part
I
of our
love how you're
team.
giving people the inclusivity.
Yeah, we're all part of
Love
everything that
it.
happens here.
Love it.
It's not a one-man
Leadership.
show.
Leadership. Love it. What's your guilty, Tom, what's your guilty pleasure? Something you love but feel silly admitting. Hmm. I mean, I really feel like the body now, whether I'm going to go for food or. Uh, ah, ah. I sometimes watch trash TV.
Okay.
Love it. Like,
You've got to give us an example. How
because
trashy.
sometimes of course I will, sometimes in arts it's always about the research, there being intellectual,
Mm,
being like, which I'm not,
yeah,
but usually
philosophical
when
and
I mean,
yeah.
I am in a way like very philosophical just because I'm very curious. So yeah, to admit that you're watching like trash TV maybe doesn't suit the image.
Letting your guard down. I love it. But everybody
I
needs a bit of
love watching
rubbish.
specifically because it has a lot to do with performance. This hostess called Anita Pagna from Greece, and what she does, she brings all these people that are like everyday people,
Mm,
and they're usually very needy. There something is missing from their lives, so they talk about finding, ordering like a partner, or it's very very like trashy in the sense that is at the limit of humiliating to them.
mm,
But then other questions come in. I mean, if they don't think it's humiliating, why
yeah.
should we think it's humiliating? Don't we
Yeah.
give them enough credit that they're responsible for their own
Yeah.
dignity? So there, I love this play when I'm watching her,
Yeah.
and she does it like with so much amazing performance, and I love watching that. And usually
And
that
that
happens when those
Are you eating a
days,
tub of ice cream or
bravo,
something
bravo.
with it?
Those
Like
they with the image intolerant
and
for lactose, like
popcorn.
my belly.
Yeah, we need like everything together and chips
Delicioso.
and Nutella on I don't know what,
You know
Pringles
how
or
important are those days give me like that. It's the kind of depressing day under the blanket
yes,
kind of
but we all
thing.
need them.
Oh my God. They give me like a push for the next
Yeah,
month or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, totally
Just switch
embrace
off
it.
and just
And I
be.
even put boundaries to my kids. I'm like, I'm not available
Yeah.
the next hours.
I did a reel on Instagram. My husband was a bit offended though, but I said it was a reel. And I said today I'm identifying as a dad, so that no one bothers me. They can all go look for someone else because it's
Yeah.
always at home. It's always mummy, mummy, mama, mama. You just hear it like so often. So sometimes it is important to say, you know what, I'm done. I'm not mummy for the next hour or day or whatever. Thank you so much, Leah. It's been wonderful. There's so much more we can say, but we'll do other things together. So everybody watch this space because you'll
Yay.
be seeing Leah more.
Thank you so much, Farah. I mean it. Thank you, and for being an example of empowerment for so many of us.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
And just being, it's what we were saying before, not caring so much about, how we look. It's more, it's what are our values? Like going back to, it's more important
Mm,
than maybe some other people are resonating with what we say.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
giving
What's
them.
inside and just being true to yourself and real. And we're all wherever we need to be on our own journeys.
And may we have the strength to deal with the challenges.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Leah Moore. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it helps us more than you may realize. If you are planning on coming to visit us at St. Raphael Resort and Marina, feel free to email our reservations team quoting Hotel Talk and receive an exclusive offer just for you. We look forward to seeing you soon, hearing your feedback about our show, and producing many, many more interesting episodes just for you, our listener, and our valued guest in mind. Thank you so much, and take care.